Within an ecosystem, there are many different types of organisms. These organisms can be split into two groups, heterotrophs and autotrophs. Heterotrophs rely on getting energy from other organisms by eating them, while autotrophs obtain energy from the sun or by chemical reactions, without needing to rely on other organisms. A biome is something that contains ecosystems with similar climate and organisms. The biome that I will talk about is called a coniferous forest biome. The root coni means a plant that has cones which bear seeds, such as an evergreen tree, and ferus meaning that it has or contains the specified thing. Coniferous forest biomes can be found at 50 to 60 degrees northern latitude, but the one that we're focused on is in America in the northeast of Minnesota. Here, the climate is cool and moist, with an average rainfall of 12 to 35 inches per year. There are heavy snows during the wintertime leading to organisms that have adapted to grow fur, and trees that use pine needles rather than leaves in order to get energy all year round. Let's make a food chain. Say I have a black bear, and it eats a white-tailed deer. And in order to keep the film PG and low budget, the bear will consume the deer in one bite. We can represent this consumption as an image. This arrow shows the direction of the flow of matter and energy. Because it is going from the deer to the bear, the deer's energy and nutrients are being transferred to the bear because the bear is eating it. But deers aren't autotrophs, they're heterotrophs, so deers need something to eat too. Let's give it some blackberries. Not all this energy is perfectly maintained throughout the food chain, however. Only 10% of the consumed organism's energy remains, so there is a 90% energy loss. For example, the energy at the autotroph step is 100%, and the next step is 10%, and then 1%. But wait! Deers don't just eat berries, and black bears don't just eat deer. And what if a black bear dies? Will anything eat it? Introducing the food web. Because there are many possibilities of what can happen when energy is transferred, it can be represented as a network of food chains. For example, the bear doesn't just need to eat deer. It could also eat berries or bugs instead. From the bottom to the top of a chain, we start with an autotroph. Let's choose an evergreen tree for the wood ant to eat. Then a black bear eats the ant. Then the bear dies of, natural causes. The bear carcass could then be consumed by a bald eagle. And then if the bald eagle dies, it can be consumed by a crow. When an organism eats a dead organism, they are called scavengers. In this food web, the dotted arrows represent scavengers. Let's look at another possibility. The spreading wood fern is a type of autotroph, so when a meadowvole comes by and eats it, its energy and nutrients are transferred down the chain. Then a red fox could eat the vole, and then an eagle could fly by and eat the fox. Here's what that possibility looks like on the food web. Keep in mind that the food chain isn't the only system in an ecosystem. On the atomic level, gases of the same element are bonded together by a strong covalent bond. For example, nitrogen gas is made up of two nitrogen atoms that are connected by a bond. It would take an incredible amount of energy to split this bond. So let's do just that, with the power of lightning. The energy from the lightning breaks apart these bonds, but only for a short period of time. They need to restabilize, so they connect to the atoms closest to them to acquire the proper valence, resulting in various new compounds, such as nitric oxide, nitrogen dioxide, nitric acid, nitrate, and ammonia. Now, when the ammonia gets consumed by nitrifying bacteria, the bacteria oxidizes it, turning it into a nitrate and giving the bacteria energy. This step is called nitrification. The nitrates are then absorbed by a plant, and then consumed by an animal, which later poops it out. Then some denitrifying bacteria absorbs the nitrates and converts it back into nitrogen gas and water. The cycle of this nitrogen repeats itself, giving it the name the nitrogen cycle. This is just one of two cycles I'm going to explain. Moving on to the phosphorus cycle. Given a rock, water, and time, weathering and erosion deposit the rock's minerals into soil. These phosphorus-bearing sediments are then absorbed by a plant, and then are consumed by an animal, such as this meadow vole. And then once it either decomposes or poops, the turds can be returned back into the soil through weathering and erosion, and the cycle continues. In the carbon cycle, organisms that respire take in oxygen and sugars and convert it to carbon dioxide gas, water, and energy. This is known as cellular respiration. Then, With the power of plants and sunlight, that carbon dioxide gas and water get converted back into oxygen and sugars using the process called photosynthesis. And that's the carbon cycle. That wraps everything up. To summarize, in a coniferous forest biome, there are many different types of organisms that have adapted to the cool, moist environment. When food chains connect, they create food webs. When energy is transferred down a chain, only 10% of the energy is transferred. In all ecosystems, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, and the phosphorus cycle each deliver their own elements respectively. It would seem that a red fox is chasing a metal bull right now, so its energy will be transferred. Never mind.